Which one's better, Gemini or Google Assistant? Hi, welcome to Zgadgetreview. The Pixel 9 Pro launched this year along with Gemini and a bunch of other AI features. This video is going to focus on the difference between Gemini and the Google Assistant. The whole point of Gemini and the way at least Google is selling Gemini is that it's going to replace the Google Assistant, giving you the same capabilities that the Google Assistant can, but enhanced, right? It's going to supposedly be smarter with the answers, more tailored to what you want it to do and how you interact with your device. And so I went ahead and did a test between the two. First, I'm going to put them head to head on doing regular tasks. Okay, Google, set an appointment for 3 p.m. this Friday on my calendar.
What do you want to call this event?
Appointment.
Got it. Adding to your calendar.
Okay, Google, set an appointment for 3 p.m. on my calendar for Friday. So if I want to save it, I'm going to do create it. Okay, Google, set a reminder tomorrow at 10 a.m. to wake me up.
Okay, I'll remind you tomorrow at 10 a.m. to wake me up.
Okay, Google, set a reminder tomorrow for 11 a.m. to wake me up.
All right, I'll remind you tomorrow at 11 a.m.
Okay, so there it looks like the Google Assistant takes it based on how fast it performs. Now let's ask Gemini and Google Assistant for movie times. What movies are playing this Friday?
Here are some movies playing this Friday, December 13th. Craven the Hunter.
So we can see here we have what movies are playing this Friday. And then here we have movie showtimes. It gives you the information in a different way, but here on Google we can see what movies are actually playing right now as well, not only the movies that are going to come out. I asked for the same information. I just changed the way I asked the question. What movies are opening this Friday?
Unfortunately, I cannot provide you with an exact list of movies opening this Friday. Movie releases vary by location and date.
As you see, it actually gave me the movies that are opening this Friday before, but for some reason I won't do it now, so it's not consistent. The way it gives us the information for movie times, it gives us a list of movies that are going to be coming out. There are no links, there are no images, there are no times. And when I do it with the Google Assistant, we have an actual list of movies accompanied by times, accompanied by pictures, accompanied by running times, and links in order to go get a ticket if you want to do that. To me, the information being presented on Gemini is a little too clinical and not very helpful. I'm going to give it to the Google Assistant. Now, another interesting thing is that Gemini has issues giving you information that is up to date sometimes. I can't remember exactly the date that I did this test, but this was before Friday. So I wanted it to let me know what movies are going to be opening later in the week. Okay, Google, what movies are premiering this Friday?
Here are some movies premiering this Friday. The Marvels, The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes,
Okay.
Trolls.
So as you can see here, it's showing me movies that came out a year or two ago, I think. None of these movies are current movies, which is odd. I don't know why it does that. Okay, Google, what movies are premiering this Friday?
These are the top results.
Okay, so here, as you can see, it just gave me Fandango, upcoming releases for IMDb, but it doesn't actually show me what movies. Okay, if I scroll all the way down, it kind of shows me what movies are coming out this Friday. So I feel that the information makes more sense here. As you can see, Gemini is wildly inconsistent. Now it's giving me movies that are premiering Friday of a year or two ago. That should not be happening with an AI. It's not acceptable. Now, of course, you should be able to get information that you otherwise couldn't get. And so I decided to ask about buying eggs, but at the same time, I wanted to get an idea of the average price of eggs. Okay, Google, can you tell me how much is a dozen of eggs?
The price of a dozen eggs varies. depending on factors like location and quality. As of December 2024, the average cost in the U.
I want a dozen eggs around me.
Here's a place near you that sells eggs, donuts.
Okay, Google. How much is a dozen eggs? Okay, you can tell me. Okay, Google. Where can I buy a dozen eggs? Okay, so it gives me places, prices, stores around me, gives me a list of places where I can go buy some eggs. Now, Gemini was great at giving me the information of the average cost of eggs depending on location and blah, 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 blah. But then when I asked it about where I could buy eggs, the first place that gave me was a donut shop that's close to my house. I know they don't sell eggs at this donut shop. I don't know why they will recommend a donut shop to go buy eggs. Not only that, the other grocery stores that were given to me that were around me, one, they weren't around me at all. I don't know where this thing thought I was. So it was a little weird. The Google Assistant did a much better job at one, my location, and two, giving me places where I can actually go buy eggs with prices and links. Once again, I gotta give it to the Google Assistant. Now I followed up that question with asking it to tell me where the closest grocery stores were around me. Okay, Google. What's the closest grocery store to me?
Here are the closest grocery stores to you. Market at 91.
So it's giving me grocery stores that are actually close to me. And it actually did a good job at that. Give me the grocery stores, again, in a list format with some links and average distance from my location. Let's see how Google Assistant did that. Okay, Google. Tell me the closest grocery stores to me.
I found a few places near you. The first one is Ralph's.
Okay, so it gives me 3 different stores that are pretty close to me. They are between 1.3 miles and a mile. And it also gives me a map on the very top where I can, of course, click directly to go. So that's what I was expecting it to do. It gave me 3 grocery stores that are the closest to me. The presentation, of course, between Gemini and Google is very different. Gemini, as I keep saying, is kind of clinical. It's a list format, no images, nothing, just links and words. Versus Google Assistant tries to give you a lot of information at once. It gives you an image to kind of give you an idea of what the store that you're going to be going to looks like. It gives you links. The information that is provided by Google Assistant is a lot more useful in my opinion than the information that you get from Gemini. So again, here I'm going to give it to the Google Assistant. Now, I decided to get reviews for the latest movie from Sony, this being Craven, but I didn't give it the name of the movie. I wanted to see if Gemini could understand what it is that I was looking for. Okay, Google. Can you read me reviews for the latest Sony superhero movie?
The most recent Sony superhero movie is Craven the Hunter, released on October 6th, 2023. Rotten Tomatoes, 16% critics, 71% audience.
And it actually did a great job at giving me the information that I was looking for. As you can see, it goes into reading the review and giving you the information for the review, which I wasn't expecting it to do. I was expecting it to just get confused or give me the name of a different movie, but it gave me the name, which was Craven. It gave me the reviews that I was looking for. Now, Google here didn't do as well.
Sure, I found these results.
Now, when I asked Google the same question, it failed to give me the information. It gave me just links to different places that I could go look at a review. So for this occasion, Gemini finally gets a point. Now let's ask about headlines. What news headlines are available? Okay, Google, can you tell me today's top headlines? Okay, so it looks like it's going to play something from Reuters here. Refers to TV US, and then if we go next, it's going to play things from these other sources. I don't know where the sources are coming from. I never set it up. So this is picked at random by Google, I guess. Okay, Google, can you tell me the top headlines for today?
Here are some of the top headlines for December 10th, 2024. Suspect in United Healthcare. CEO.
Okay, so here we have headlines and it has links, it has pictures. Gemini's presentation was to me much better. And the reason is because it actually gives me headlines with links and there's actually pictures for once. The fact that I don't have to sit there and listen to something, I can quickly scroll, read the headlines that I'm asking for and decide if I want to read more or not. To me, because of that, Gemini gets another point. Now let's see how they perform by sending text messages. Okay, Google, send a text message to Luis.
What's the message?
This is a test, ignore.
Right. Message to Luis saying, this is a test, ignore. Ready to send it?
Yes.
Sending it now.
It sent a text. Okay, Google, send a text to Luis.
What's the message?
This is another test, also ignore.
I got. This is another test, also ignore. Ready to send it?
Yes. So they both did good at sending the text message. Now, if we're being super picky, of course, the Google Assistant is going to take it because it was faster at performing the task. But in this case, since they both did it without any mistakes, I'm going to give them a tie. So they both get a point. Now, let's say that I'm going to a place that I'm not very familiar with. In this case, I chose Universal Studios and I'm looking for restaurants. Okay, Google, can you recommend a restaurant in Los Angeles, close to Universal Studios, and tell me how to get there?
Here are some restaurant options near Universal Studios. FIV on the Hill. This restaurant is located inside the Hilton Tower and offers Californian and Pan-Asian cuisine.
Because as you can see here, it's giving me options, and so then it's giving me directions on how to get there. Okay, Google, I would like you to recommend me restaurants that are close to Universal Studios and how to get there.
I found a few places near you. The first one is California's.
Now, Gemini did a pretty good job at it. Again, the format that it presents, I just do not like this list format of just words and links, which isn't necessarily what I want because I would like to maybe look into the restaurant before I decide if I'm going to go to it. But that's how the information is presented with Gemini. Now with Google Assistant, again, gives you images, gives you kind of the same information that you get from Gemini, which is of course the restaurant, type of food, whatever. But the difference is that I can actually go into each restaurant and look up their menu and look up the information that I want. And because of that reason, I have to give it to the Google Assistant once again. Now I decided to tell it that I was going to a city, in this case, San Juan Capistrano, and I asked about things to do. Okay, Google, I am going to San Juan Capistrano. Can you tell me some things to do over there?
Sure, I found this on the web.
There we go. Okay, so we have a link for TripAdvisor, what people are asking, I don't know, some videos. Okay, Google, I'm planning on going to San Juan Capistrano. Can you tell me some things to do over there?
Here are some of the fun things to do in San Juan Capistrano.
Okay, so here's giving me different places, a little bit of a description of what these places are, of course, maps on how to get there. Now, the information that was given by the Google Assistant was what you usually expect. Links with pictures, places, hotels, that you can actually click and look into videos, links to videos that people have made and things like that, that allows you to do more research about the place that you're going to. Gemini also did a pretty good job at it. It wasn't as robotic as I expected it to be. It gave me different places to go, straight to the point, landmarks, little descriptions of the places that it's telling me to go to, but that's it. Oh, and then a link to Google Maps, but that's it. There wasn't any more that I could do with that. I couldn't click on anything to read into it more. I couldn't click on an image to see what the place might look like if I want to go to it or not. Nothing else. And because of that reason, again, I'm going to have to give it to the Google Assistant. Now, another thing that this AI and Google Assistant have been touted as is trip planners, right? If you're going out of the country and you wanted to create an itinerary for you, could it do that? Okay, Google, I'm going to be traveling to Lima, Peru. Can you give me an itinerary of the things that I should do on my first 3 days there? Keep in mind that I'm going to be there from December 28th to December 31st.
Absolutely. Here's a 3-day itinerary for your trip to Lima, Peru, from December 28th to 31st. Day 1, December 28th. Arrival and...
Okay, Google. I'm going to be traveling to Lima, Peru. I would like you to give me an itinerary of things to do over there while I'm there. Keep in mind that I'm going to be traveling between the 28th and the 31st of December. Okay, I gave it too much information and it didn't know if I was talking to it. So let me try this again. Okay, Google. I am traveling to Lima, Peru from December 28th to December 31st. Please tell me things to do during those days.
Sure, here are some results.
Okay, so let's see. Let's talk about how Google did first. So Google got stuck because I gave it too much information and he didn't know how to answer my question. So I had to ask the question again in a simpler way. All he gave me was links of pre-planned trips that people have created, I'm assuming, or traveling packages and things like that, which isn't very useful for what I'm trying to do. Now, Gemini here shined. Gemini actually created an itinerary for me from the moment I get to Lima to pretty much the moment I leave. He told me what places to go to, which states to go on, and all of that. So he created an actual itinerary that you could use. Personally, from having been in Peru, in Lima, if I was taking someone, that is kind of what I will do. Those are the places that I will take people to. A few things that got wrong. One, he didn't have a clue of where I was staying, but immediately assumed that I was going to stay in Miraflores. And I understand why he chose Miraflores. Miraflores is one of the areas that are the most popular for tourists. That's where the majority of people stay. The other thing that was really weird is recommending me a restaurant without giving me a restaurant. Telling me to go eat some seafood while being able to look at the ocean. Doesn't make sense when you don't tell me what restaurant I should go to. While it isn't perfect, you could maybe fill in those blanks that it didn't give you. I will say that everything else was great and I was very impressed. So here, the point goes to Gemini, easily. Now, one of my biggest issues with AI and the Google Assistant is that AI will not read an article for me. I said it during the review of the phone, and here I'm going to show you an example of how that happens. Okay, Google, read the article on my screen.
I can't read the article on your screen because I don't have access to your camera or screen.
Okay.
If you'd like me to
Let's
read...
try this again. Okay, Google. Can you read what you see on my screen?
This is an article about streaming services. It discusses the fact that most streaming services...
So as you can see here, it's condensing the article. It's giving me what it comprehends what the article is about instead of actually reading the article. Let's see if I can have it read the article again. Can you please just read the article as is without synopsis?
I'm not programmed to assist with that.
That's not true. Can you please read this article without synopsis, without opinion?
This is an article about streaming services.
Again,
it discusses the...
It is telling me it's not doing what I'm asking it to do. Okay, Google, read the article.
Chester Bennington's son slams Lincoln Park for replacing his late father with...
This is what I want. Now, the thing that I also don't like about Gemini is that I'm supposed to be in control of Gemini, not the other way around. But when it comes to this reading of articles, Gemini decides, it makes a unilateral decision to just summarize the article when it can see the full article on my screen. It decides over and over again to just give me a summary of what I'm asking it to read. It comes up with excuses like, hey, I'm a language model, I cannot read, which is not true because, as I said before, if you copy and paste the text into the box and ask it to read it out loud, it will read it out loud. And those are the times that I get very annoyed with this thing. Versus the Google Assistant does read the article, and you can throw as many articles as you want to it. The thing will keep reading and reading and reading and reading until you're tired of it reading it. Google Assistant can do it. Gemini should be able to do it too. Point goes to Google. How about recipes? Recipes are something that should be pretty easy. You should be able to tell your assistant, hey, these are the ingredients that I have available to me. Can you tell me what to make with those ingredients? Okay, Google, can you give me a recipe on what to cook with beans, potatoes, rice, and cheese?
Here are some results.
Okay, so it's giving me pictures, links on recipes. Okay, Google, can you tell me what to cook? I only have beans, rice, potatoes, and cheese.
Sure, here are some ideas for what to cook with only beans, rice, potatoes, and cheese. Burrito bowls. Layer.
Okay, so here's giving me information on what I could cook and how I could cook it. But as you can see, these are recipes. There are no links anywhere. As you can see, Google Assistant did a great job. It gave me recipes with images and links in order to be able to go and make something for me to eat. Well, Gemini just gave me the information of what I could make, and it doesn't really provide you links to recipes either. It just gives you a list of things that you can do with these ingredients. Point goes to Google Assistant once again. But of course, the other magic that Gemini has is that it's a conversational thing, a conversational assistant, where you can ask it different questions and continue your query as if you're having a conversation with someone. It will remember your original question and the follow-up information that is providing you in the questions that you're asking along the way. Back and forth with this and get as much information as you want, but just speaking to it. And you can do this in two different ways. The first is either summoning by saying Google, the HEY, and then the microphone comes up and you can start talking to it. Or you can go to the actual Gemini app where you get all these pretty lights and stuff. Where you don't get any text, is everything is just a conversation between you and the AI. Call it every time. Hey, so I want to build a rocket in my backyard to possibly go to the moon and back. Do you think I can do that?
Building a rocket capable of reaching the moon in your backyard is a pretty big project. It would take a lot of time, money, and specialized knowledge.
Has there ever been a person who has built a rocket in their backyard?
Yeah, there have been a few cases of people building rockets in their backyards. One famous example is a guy named Mad Mike Hughes. He built several steam-powered rockets and launched himself in them, though it did end up costing him his life.
Was he able to actually get out to space with those rockets or no?
Nope, not even close. The highest he made it was around 1,800 feet.
Hey,
which
so
is barely
if I wanted
a tenth of
to
a mile.
build a rocket in my backyard, do you know about how much it will cost me to do that?
All right, so building a rocket that could reach space is going to be crazy.
Please continue with what you were saying.
All right, so building a rocket that could reach space is going to be crazy expensive. You're probably looking at needing millions of dollars.
What kind of metal should I use to build a rocket to go to space?
You'd want to use a combination of metals for a rocket, each with its own advantages. Titanium is really strong and lightweight.
They did a really good job at staying on topic and staying with me, even though I change the topic from time to time and I try to take it in different directions. For that, of course, I'm going to give the point to Gemini, who came out on top. If you've been following along, it is pretty easy to guess. Google Assistant wins with 9 points versus Gemini with only 5 points. The Google Assistant beats Gemini easily at the majority of tasks that your phone needs to do. And to me, that's important because Google and Apple as well are trying to sell AI as the newest thing on your phone, as a thing that is going to not only do everything that your old dumb assistant could do, but even more than you could ever imagine. And that's just not true. The way the information is presented with the regular Google search is a lot better when you're actually doing research, where you want to continue looking at things yourself. I understand that you might say, hey, but you can continue talking to Gemini if you want to ask more questions about the thing. Yeah, sure, but it's so to the point and without any extensions that you're stuck with the information that it's providing you without you necessarily being able to corroborate that the information that you're getting from this AI is accurate. Perfect example is the movies. To me, that's where the issue comes in, that is kind of forcing you to take at face value the information that the AI is giving you without giving you a chance to double check. Versus when you get the information with the Google Assistant, you can continue checking the information that is giving you. I will like it if Google did a better job at merging both things into one with a list of links below it and images and things that you can continue looking into it or corroborating that the information that the AI is giving you is accurate, because we know that AI isn't perfect. We know that AI makes mistakes. We know that AI can spread misinformation as well. The other issue that I have with Gemini is consistency. It's not consistent at all. When you ask it the same question several times, different times throughout the day or after doing different things, it gives you different information each time. I don't know how it went from actually giving me movies that were going to be opening on Friday to then telling me that it couldn't give me that information at all because it is difficult to find movie information for some reason, to then giving me information that was a year to 2 years old. And that makes it an unreliable source of information. I think this whole search thing like that they're pushing with Gemini is a lot more urgent to fix and to make better than you being able to remove a person in the background from your picture. I mean, come on. What do you think about Gemini and Google Assistant? Do you use both? Have you used either one? Do you have a preference on one or the other? Do you have any other questions that I might be able to answer? Go ahead and let me know in the comment section. That is it for me. Go ahead and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. Go ahead and hit that bell so you can be alerted every time we have new videos. And thank you very much for watching.